Alright, let's see if I can get this one done properly this time. So, this is take 3 of me attempting to record this honest review. It's been 3 attempts because the first time I didn't go exactly into the actual functionality that well. The second time, which is soon to be deleted off the channel, hopefully, I didn't have audio, which is a running problem in my videos. I screw up audio mixing a lot. So let's hope that this is the third time. That the third time is the last one. Hello everyone. I am X, the Turtle, 69 here, back with a brand new honest review. And today, guys, we have a new contender we have the next contender for the golden standard of another product. For those of you who are not aware, since I believe this is the first video that I'm doing with the system, products that are not attempting to achieve the golden standard, which I mean, like, I'll test it and I'll determine whether or not it's, an attempt at it. But a lot of the time, we review stuff that are attempting to take the place of the golden standard, and we rate those currently out of 20, but may increase to out of 25, 30, depending on the better features and abilities of it. So before we get into this, let's check out the current golden standard, the Skullcandy Rift 2 Wireless. This one, we had to raise it out of 15, as this was a 12 out of 15 product. Mostly because, although it did have almost everything that I could want for it, it committed to the bit. Its design is nice, had some bonus features, but mainly the issues were that it didn't have enough bonus features, and it wasn't as comfortable, nor is it as durable. But then again, though, it did survive me bonking my head on it with, like, my entire weight on an elevator door, so take that with a grain of salt. But it does have commitment to the bit, or as I like to call it, but technically its proper name is commitment to the color scheme, with being black with gray highlights, with the Skullcandy logo being gray. However, its durability, it's pretty durable so far. I haven't actually broken it, but the earmuffs did come apart, and I did have to repair them. So, with that being said, let's get into the current product. First up, the packaging. This is the Skullcandy Icon ANC. Now, I've been testing this quite a bit, and I've just, started actually using it unironically, because I love these. But, let's get into that later. First things first, initial impressions. Very simplistic art box design, very consistent with all their other products packaging. Has the Skullcandy logo, the name, the brand name up there as well, a picture of the product, which is always nice, a list of promises. On the side here, it just has Skullcandy. On the side here, not any gibberish. On the bottom, it's all the legal mumbo jumbo. And on the top, it says, works with Android, made for iPhone and iPad. Oh, iPod. With 100% recyclable packaging. So already I'm giving it full marks for its packaging, which is not hard to do. Because the packaging is always pretty easy to do just about perfectly. You don't really need good packaging for a good product. But this is just so simple. Also, if you look at it, you might notice that it looks slightly less like, Skullcandy's normal headphones and slightly more akin to the Beats headphone brand, which I think is, well, I like that a lot, because here's the thing: Beats is partnered with Apple, and this just gives you, more recognition for Apple products. Now, I use an Android, so won't exactly work fully. Now, let's look at these promises, because we will get back to these in a second. But just to be clear, it promises 60 hours of battery life with rapid charge, sweat and water resistant, does not give the IP rating, more on that in a bit, noise cancelling and stay aware, customizable with the Skullcandy app, and Spotify Tap. Now, I'm just gonna have to assume that Spotify Tap works, because actually I don't have Spotify. I know, shocking. I'm a YouTube music person, because I'm gonna be honest, it's way too much work to go back and redo the entirety of my playlist on YouTube Music and Spotify. Okay, next up, unboxing experience. So we open it from the bottom. Very simple so far. And we just pull out the box. It has a quick start guide with both English and Spanish control instructions, which are basically just how to get it working without reading the entire user manual. But then you got the user guide for those who want to be thorough, and also for those who want the legal mumbo jumbo. Then we also got the box, and another full, and I'm gonna give it full marks for the unboxing experience, because it's super simplistic. Plus, it doesn't waste any of the box space. Now, as for accessories, I'm gonna have to give it all but 1 point that I can, because the thing is, it was so close to getting full marks for the entirety of initial impressions segment, which is everything before looking at the actual headset. I mean, it came with a pretty decently long charger, came with its own power cable, plus it also came with a travel bag, which I do have to admit I did break, but that's probably because I was not being careful with it. And its travel bag is black with gray highlights, slightly dark gray highlights, or shiny gray highlights. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. Honestly, I feel like for Skullcandy products, they should always go with the what I consider the best color scheme for. They have two main color schemes. They have their white, I believe it's white with orange highlights, or a bone with orange highlights, which they're known for, and they're black with orange highlights, which they are very much known for. And I believe that Skullcandy shouldn't differ from these unless absolutely necessary, because I think that the orange highlights do a really good service. But I also feel like, you can have other highlights, and if you don't even have other highlights, just commit to the highlights with the logo. The logo should be the color of the highlights, or the iconic orange color. Here's the thing, though. Skullcandy, I feel like you could have fit one extra thing into this. And I feel like you could have fit one extra thing into the box with this. For the headphones, I feel like you should be and honestly, they do this for other headsets that they make. So I'm not sure why they didn't do this for the Icon ANC or the Rift 2 Wireless. But you know what? I understand that some people want a a identical color logo to their headphones. You could have packaged in like stickers and maybe like a sticker aligner or something of that account. I mean, if you do stickers, if you do make it a sticker and, a sticker aligner or something, or maybe even have like I don't know, but that adds a little bit of customization to it, you know? So for that, all in all, for the initial impressions section, I'm gonna give it the max grade that I can of a 4.9. No, 4.5 out of 10. Now I say a 4.9 out of 10 because functionality definitely does boost it up. But for this, the next segment is going to be covering the aesthetics of the actual headphones, which will be the rest of the out of 10. And then everything else, the functionality wise and everything, will be the rest of it out of 20, because that's what you need for golden standard products. You'll 100% need accessories and other things like bonus features. Alright. Don't mind the noise in the background. Anyway, though, let's look at the actual pair of headphones. So, it is definitely wearing its Beats. It's definitely looking like it's a pair of Beats headphones, but still with its own twist on it, as you can tell. Now, already I gotta give it full marks for comfort, as it has all the comforting stuff as a normal pair of headphones. It has a top cushion that is actually reinforced by metal here. It has these nice pleather ear cushions. It's nice and elastic, nice and easy to wear for long bits of time, and all in all, it just feels nice to even hold. Now, due to the exposed wire, I cannot recommend you get this for younger children. Specifically, any kid that's... Well, you definitely shouldn't be getting super expensive headphones for kindergarteners, but kindergarteners, grade schoolers, and middle schoolers, I cannot recommend. I also do not suggest that you get this for high schoolers until like junior senior year. And the reason why is because, especially in all school levels before high school, these wires, external wires, are probably going to get cut by bullies. And the thing is, these wires, if they are cut or damaged too much in any way, will prevent the left ear from functioning. Now, that's not exactly an issue for me currently because I ruptured my left eardrum recently, so I'm still waiting for that to heal. Don't worry, it doesn't actually hurt anymore, and it has been healing perfectly fine. But the point still stands. But yeah. Other than that, though, I think that the wires give it a bit of personality. You guys can see it best when I'm, holding it up to the window. Now, what I think is very interesting about these headphones is something that you could see on the box. See, you might notice that this little screw about right here, this little thing there, that is a different color, similar color to the rims. And that's because the rims and the power button are actually the highlights, are actually colored yellowish green for the highlights of the headphones. And instead of coloring the Skullcandy logos for some damn reason, Skullcandy decided, you know what would be good? Let's make a singular screw be the color of the highlights. Now, the best thing about this is that this is not a mistake, because they literally show it on the box. So I do not know what Skullcandy was smoking, but it's gotta be something good. Other than that, though, I do love the little slit here. It does allow you to breathe. Now, last video actually, last time that I made this video, well, the second attempt at making this video, I had a little bit of an incident with these. You see, Skullcandy headphones are not known to be very durable at times. They're known to be really, really good and affordable, yes. And if you take proper care of it, yes, they can be durable. But I've put these things through hell. Literally the first 2 days that I ever used these headphones was during an event where, let's just say that the second ever day that I used these headphones, I was at Six Flags all day. So these things have been through hell and back. And the fact is that the one piece of damage that they have is that their part of their hinge on both sides, a very, very tiny piece of plastic has broke off on both sides, exposing that, yes, exposed the hinges. However, the thing is, these hinges, this could have been really bad because a lot of companies do make it so that their hinges are only held on by the plastic, and that would mean that these headphones would be a lot less durable. But remember when I said that these headphones were reinforced with metal? It felt from how it feels in the headband. It seems like this metal is directly connected to the hinges, meaning that that plastic was only there to protect the metal. So that is very, very good. Now, I should say this. Skullcandy isn't known for having super high grade protection, like to the point where it would be industrial complex grade durability. But the more expensive products do ramp up in their durability, and we can see here that, I mean, this is definitely much more durable than the Rift 2 Wireless, which is nice. And it's only getting me more excited for when I hopefully test out more expensive items and see their durability. I also love how the Skullcandy logo is front and center here. Now, I can't give it full marks because it didn't commit to the bit fully with the Skullcandy logo not being highlighted color, nor being orange. But I feel like I can give this a confident 9 out of 10. The feel is perfect. The design is almost perfect. I literally had to dock a grand total of 2 half points, meaning that I docked a grand total of 1 point so far, simply because of certain nitpicks that I do. But that's the thing. I'm a review YouTuber. And also, I'm reviewing these based off of their prices. And honestly, based off of their prices, this thing is like a $150 headset. That's like probably other brands would make you spend like $200 on it. And this product you can get on Amazon for $50 goddamn dollars. So yeah, it is real nice. But with that being said, let's move on to the important stuff. Alright, so it's time for the functionality. Now, for the functionality, I cannot exactly describe. I have to basically do the. Basically, how I have to do this is I have to show you guys, hopefully, the audio range by putting these things on my mic, and then I have to describe to you my experiences with the things that I can't exactly show you guys and have you guys experience. Like the ANC and everything. Now, before we begin, I do want to state another little complaint. You see, nowhere on the physical product does it say anything about its IP rating. Though on the website it does. Now, what is IP rating? IP, also standing for ingress protection, is basically the protection rating of how much shit can get into it. Now, you might know of IP ratings consisting of two numbers. If you've done a lot of Skullcandy stuff, you might know that it consists of an X and then a different number. Well, what they don't tell you is that X actually represents that there has been no testing. Basically, they don't know shit. But why do they only have two X's? Why do they have one X there? Well, actually, there's two X's possible in an IP rating. The first number, or first X there that you see, is the solids. And the second X there, or the second number there, is the liquids, mostly water. Now, solids range anywhere from, you can put your entire fucking hand in this, to, if dust can get in it, it can only get into very small places in a very, very, very small amount over a course of a year, and basically, it's still gonna leave the product completely functional. That dust ain't gonna do shit. And the second number there for water ranges from don't let this thing anywhere near water or it will fucking die, to it can take water in very, very short bursts from all angles. Then it gets to how long it can be submerged in water and how deep it can be submerged in water. Eventually to just rating based off of how deep the product can go submerged in water before it gets crushed because water pressure exists. Headphones are not submarines, people. Now, the Icon ANC is rated IPX4, which basically means we haven't tested it with dust, but considering that this is a pair of headphones, we're just going to assume that if dust can get into it, it's not going to exactly be effective. We're not exactly testing it for dust, not exactly the type of product, But that X4, now, IP ratings are a broad concept. Even within a single rating, that could mean a variety of different things. But generally speaking, it is only IPX, I believe, 5 or 6 when you can fully start. I believe IP5 or 6 is when the pressure washer is introduced. So, before that is only raining. So this thing could either mean that it can survive. I believe that IPX4 means that it can survive basically survive rain from any angle. Which means that this thing, for all intents and purposes, unless you're fucking swimming with it, is waterproof. And it is entirely waterproof unless you actually go underwater with them on, or if they go underwater. And I have tested this actually. They have survived rain, and it wasn't even, not even the cushion survived. Like, seriously, my glasses stayed wet longer than these things did. And my glasses are solid fucking metal. So, yeah, that's a little nitpick that they don't have that on there. But let's actually continue into the main test. So, you know what? Let's get this out of the way first, because I want to save the big reveal for last. So let's talk about the bonus features and everything before we get into the stuff that I can actually show you. So, bonus features. Personalized audio. You connect it to the Skullcandy app, you take a little test, and it customizes the audio to be richer or to be more bland or subtle based specifically on your ears. And it can be updated as your ears, change. Equalizers. It's a Skullcandy equalizer. It lets you customize your music. It also has low latency mode and multi-point pair. So multi-point pair is basically you pair it to two. You can pair it to two products at the same time, and whichever product is playing audio at that given time, it will switch pretty seamlessly to. Low latency latency mode basically means that it can set it itself up to be as low latent as possible, so that you can listen to your game as things go, not as things went 10 seconds ago. I've actually tested this with one of my highest latency products, and I tested it with the Hollow Knight games, Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong, and basically, in both games, sorry about that. So basically, the difference literally is I was hearing audio a second later on my highest latency device versus me hearing audio like only a fraction, only like a very, very, very low fraction of a millisecond after I did an action, which I barely could tell. Now that is an issue for certain high stakes games, but as a Metroidvania player, that's not exactly an issue for me. Now, next, and there's also a lot of other features that I would suggest that you try out, but the next one that I want to mention is that this entire headset is controlled by two buttons. So the main button, which is the yellow button here, controls turning on and off, and pressing it twice will cycle through 3 modes. We'll more on that later. But the other one, the silver button there, is actually a joystick. So, just normally pressing the joystick will play/pause music and also answer calls. And I believe pressing it twice will, or maybe holding it down for a second. Hold on, we have the quick start guide for this. Joystick pressing down for 1 second will end or reject a call. Pressing up on the joystick or down on the joystick will toggle volumes, up being up and down being down. Toggling, so pressing the joystick right will skip the track, and then pressing left will rewind the track. And this also works with YouTube. Now, on to the actual. Now, okay, second to last, on to the audio modes. So, normal is just, your normal stuff. And I do want to mention, even with all three of these, the audio is very, very clear, and because it's a Skullcandy product, obviously the bass boost does not overwhelm the actual music. It's a perfect blend of both bass boost and the actual music, being so that you can enjoy, music and it. And it's very, very clear, beautiful, concise, and like just yeah, that's the best that I can explain it. Beautiful, clear audio. The clearest and most beautiful audio that I've ever heard. And the most, like, vibrant, I'd say, audio that I've ever heard. Allowing me to hear pieces of, like, sounds that I don't think that I've ever heard. Stay Aware also keeps this, but Stay Aware makes it so that the music sounds distant, almost as if so normal sounds like there's a band, but it doesn't sound like it's a band, but it just sounds like you're at a concert, but you can still hear some people around you, like a really, really decent pair of headphones should. Stay Aware makes it sound like the band is, yeah, right there, but in the distance, so you can still hear everything else that's going on around you. And then finally, active noise canceling mode cancels out all audio around you, so you can barely hear anything without music or anything playing on the headphones. But with things playing on the headphones, you cannot hear anything. It is as if you are right in the front row seat of a band, but you can control how loud they are. It is amazing. But that's not it, because before we can give its final verdict, you guys gotta hear the actual audio and hear its range. So, I have a playlist that is public called headphone/earbud test, where I have I believe it's, exactly 6 songs that I've tested that have their endings, not their endings, but their beginnings being perfect for everything, except for one. See, the second song in the playlist, which is a mixture of Subnautica, Red Alert, and Leviathan. Sorry, a mixture of Abandoned Ship, Red Alert, and Leviathan from the Subnautica soundtrack. The entire song is a good test. But let's just have you guys hear this for yourself. So there's the ultra deep bass test, so you can hear that. And now, so there's the Subnautica parts. Of course, all of this, I will put down each of the pieces of music that I used and the description. But as you can also tell, I'm only using the one that I am very confident and not getting, absolutely struck down by the copyright gods. Because I'm going to only be using a few seconds of each of the songs. Except for, Subnautica, the 3 pieces of Subnautica soundtrack. Because not only do I have both Subnautica games, but also a lot of people use it in the background. And if you want to see me make sure that I have both Subnautica games, check out my Twitch, twitch.tv/xtheturtle69, or check out my YouTube shorts. In fact, check out my most popular YouTube short, where you can literally see me screwing around. I believe in my hardcore save. Now, last one up is for high-pitched stuff, and I will only be showing a few seconds of this, because this is probably the closest one to copyright strike me. Please, YouTube gods, do not absolutely kill my channel. But, I mean, like, it's only the beginning that matters. So you guys can definitely tell the wide range that we have here. And it is definitely a very nice range of music, for sure. However, that doesn't... Okay, there we go. Just made sure that I, deleted it. Okay. That, just because it has a nice wide range, doesn't mean that it's worth its price. So, what's its final rating? Well, I'd say that it is actually an 18 out of 20. It has its flaws, yes. But for everything that it seeks to do, it reaches those goals and then continues even further. But is it worth its price? For the price of a pair of headphones that is over $100, that you can get on Amazon for $50 on a decent sale. Even at its base price, I feel like it is a good sale. As long as you know how to keep headphones safe and not, break them, these things are definitely going to be, pretty decent. So yes, I would recommend these to mature adults, so I would recommend this for anyone junior, who's a junior in high school, all the way up to just being a straight up adult. I cannot recommend it for anyone younger than a junior in high school, because it's definitely more likely to get broken because of other people. However, I mean, yeah, that's it. Now, on a side note, I do want to mention that we are running up on a special, very, very, very special little piece of time, which will signify whether or not I am actually a good headphone user. You see, it is soon becoming October. And here's the thing about the wonderful month of October. It is quite close to November and December. And here's the thing. I got this pair of headphones. Exactly, literally, my senior year of high school. And I got them, like, I believe it was a few days after, a few weeks after winter break. So, it is about time. It's basically, I'm used to, it's been a few months since I've gotten these. These things have lasted into the next school year, which normally doesn't happen. Therefore, I believe that I might just have found an actual pair of forever headphones. But that is to be determined. Now, I'm definitely keeping a lot closer of a track on this, because this is also where I keep my class ring at. And also, I don't even have to worry about them falling out of my pockets like my other pair of earbuds did. The last pair of earbuds that I lost. Nor do I really have to worry about them opening up and everything. Now, I have almost lost them a few times, but I've only ever almost lost them in the house. And with their handy tracker, I've been able to find them. So, if I can do that, then I will be making a video on why every single pair of headphones should be clipped like this. And I'm gonna be honest, it looks like Skullcandy's already doing that, because, I mean, it looks like they're going back and revamping each and every single one of their, pairs of earbuds. I mean, seriously. The Dime Evos, I believe, are the last pair of earbuds in the Dime series. To this day. And what did they do? Well, they added a clip. They're also the most expensive pair. The Method ANC, or Method 360 ANC, or whatever they're called, have the same case, very similar case, to the Dime Evos. And the new Push earbuds in the Push series, also have a clip case. But, with that being said, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video, or at least, you guys were able to put this on in the background while you did stuff. If you did enjoy this video, or, you're just feeling, a little generous, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps out the channel a ton. I can never manage to stress this enough. I do this channel, I mostly do this channel from my enjoyment, but also I do some of this stuff for your guys' enjoyment. And I've always stated that if I ever do get monetized on this channel, I will basically if I ever get monetized on this channel, I will be putting almost all of that money back into the channel. Now, that might mean me getting new games for myself and everything, but if that does mean me getting new games for myself, that means that I will be implementing a new rule that will only allow me to play those games until I've completed them on camera, so that you guys get the full experience. But I mean, yeah. Also, consider commenting down below what you would love to see me do next. 'Cause, I kind of run out of ideas sometimes, and it stops me from yapping about Skullcandy for the 500th time, I'll tell you that. But with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video whenever that comes out. Bye. Now I gotta test to see if this fucker has audio. I don't want a recap of the last time.